All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have Kevin Kendrick from the Orlando market. He's with the Keller Williams office up in the Orlando market, runs a team up there. And Jamie and him are good friends, so she asked him to join us today. And I'm just going to hand it over to Jamie and let her go. So,
Hey Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great, doing great. Well, I am so excited to have you on here, Kevin and Yvette are amazing. They're an amazing couple, beautiful family. And I just want to say this before we start interviewing is that when I first came into Keller Williams, Green and, 2 weeks old, him and his wife, Yvette, were the ones that just gave me the warmest welcome and were just really solidly there for me. And so anyway, just they're great human beings and y'all are going to really enjoy them. And one of the things that really has not just the success of them and their team and their family impresses me, the balance they have in their life. It's just who they are, and how they represent themselves in the community and how they're involved. It's not just about real estate to them. In fact, it's very evident that it's about relationships and people. And so that's why I love them. And it's just an honor to know them. And I just want to thank you for being on here, Kevin. So
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And so how's everyone doing this morning? Okay, I got thumbs up, so that's good. So how many of you are still in your pajamas? Raise your hand.
Can't see me, but it's me.
Yeah, my dog has a bad tendency to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I go straight to the hoodie because the house is nice and cold. So, but thank you everyone for having me this morning. It's an honor and a privilege when I get a chance to speak to any market center. And so once we get past this pandemic, I'd love to come down. My wife and I, we love coming down to Sarasota. We actually stay in Lido Beach, and maybe we can do this in live versus doing it through Zoom. So. But Jamie, I think you have a bunch of questions for me, but real quick before I do share. So what Jamie said about relationships is 100% true for our business. We actually use the hashtag in all of our social media postings, relationships matter. And we also use the hashtag community matters because that's really kind of how we've driven our business is a lot of face-to-face, which this pandemic time stinks, but we do a lot of community events. We host a lot of community events, and we do a lot with our schools and with our hospitals in the area, which I think we could talk about shortly. So anything that I say today, please know it's coming from a heart of gratitude. I'm very thankful for. Sometimes when we talk about ourselves, it may come across as arrogant or conceited, and I don't want it to come across that way at all. It's always going to come across, this is what we've done, and this is what works for us. So please take it from that. If you hear me use the word I too much, I use my best to use the word we. But I always want to put that disclaimer out there that it's not about me because we have a great team behind us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I want to start out by you just sharing a little bit about your background, what you did prior to real estate. I know you were a principal and doing real estate part-time and did very well. And then you switched over to going full-time. So let's start there. And, what made you go into real estate?
So I am a 7th generation Floridian. So I'm old school Floridian. I was born and raised in Orlando. I'm that rarity here. And going to school and being a product of Orange County Public Schools, I wanted to be a teacher. And that's what I went to college for. And so I became a teacher. And I'll never forget my first paycheck. I got $700, and I was in the teacher's lounge with all the old time teachers. And I looked at my paycheck and I was like, oh my gosh. And the ladies they're like, can't believe they pay you that much. And they were just, of course, downgrading the paycheck. And I'm like, this is amazing. I get paid $700 to teach kids all day. I was 22 years old and made $700. I thought it was amazing. And so I worked for the school system, Orange County Public Schools, for probably about 16, 17, 18 years. And then the Florida school system, because I worked for Florida Virtual as well, for 22 and a half. And so I worked my way up to being a principal, which was part of my dream as well, to be a principal in Orange County. And long story short, that's when I got licensed. One of the teachers I started teaching with back in 1996, he was a real estate agent during the boom. And as the market crashed, that's when I got licensed, and I was a referral. agent. Every time someone wanted to move, I would give them to my buddy Pat, and I made referral fees. And I was working for a mom and pop company. I joined Keller Williams in 2014. Hindsight, I wish I joined Keller Williams in 2010. And I would have quit the school system right away. But in 2015 was my first full year with Keller Williams, with not working for Orange County Public Schools. And I think I sold 15 homes for about just over $3 million. And our business has just continued to increase each year as we've continued to, kind of build our name and our brand within the community. And we're very hyper local. We do most of our work in 3 or 4 zip codes, which is a blessing because we don't drive a lot. And last year we finished, myself and my buyer's agent, we did either right at 70 transactions or a smidgen below. And we did right at 22 million.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know in Lake Nona, we always had you teach classes and, and on the farming and how you do it. And I know this is not on our questions, really, but do you want to touch on that a little bit? Because I know a lot of people have asked me about that and how that's how you're working that now with the pandemic.
Yeah, so farming is really, so I am not the Keller Williams. In 2014, when I joined Keller Williams in 2015, I did everything they told me to do. I made my 20 phone calls. I went through Bold. I did everything. And I just learned I don't like being on the phone. I'm a social person. I'd rather have coffee 5 times a day, with 5 different people, or 2 breakfasts and meet face to face. And so I thought about, what can I do to bring people to me and not the other way around? Me always having to call people. So I asked my wife. I took $500 from our checking account and I bought a inflatable movie screen and I bought a movie projector, and I already had the speakers, and we started hosting outdoor movie nights. And and we started this was October 2015, and we do community events still. And I'll talk about what we're doing next, what we're doing this Saturday. And long story short, it's just been a blessing. We've been very creative from, Father's Day events, Mother's Day events, Easter events, cornhole tournaments, glow stick parties with a DJ. And so we just get very creative with what we do. And we do that now in 2 neighborhoods. And it blows me away that people still come to our events. They have a blast. Because of those events, we get invited to little kids' birthday parties. And we're like, why do we get invited to these kids' parties? And we find out later that they invited us because all the couples they met at our events, which is really neat to see people double dating, triple dating, quadruple dating, and they all met at our community events because they found that they had like-minded stuff. So, but I did community events for 4 months straight and did not get one person wanted to buy a house, not one person wanted to sell a house. And we actually said, man, this is kind of takes a lot of time to do this. And we actually considered stopping after 4 months. Praise God I didn't, because in February, I listed my first home, and then I listed 2 more homes, and then I listed 2 more homes in my neighborhood. And in 2016, I actually took market share in our neighborhood, where a real estate agent who was actually in our market center has dominated that community for 15 years. And that's kind of what we do with farming. We also do a lot with teachers, and we also do a lot with nurses. And by the way, teachers are still working and they have jobs, and nurses are working and they still have jobs. So teachers can't be at the school, so we can't do anything for the teachers right now. But nurses, we just fed all the nurses on the 3rd floor at Nemours Hospital just last week. So cost me $250. Guess what? I didn't pay $250. My lender did, my title guy did, my insurance guy did, my home inspector did. They paid for the food. All I did was get us in the door. Yeah. Guess whose house we listed? The head nurse on the 3rd floor. So we've gotten it in. So we're still doing it. Now, as far as community goes, how many of you, raise your hand, you know what a bold 100 is? How many of you know what a reverse bold 100 is? Exactly. So I'm doing a reverse bold 100 this week. I promise you we're going to get 150 plus phone calls, and my goal is to get 25 leads. Now, right now we're calling our database and we're checking in on people. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? Just wanted to check in on you. How are the kids? Do you need anything? Are you staying safe? Those are the phone calls we're making. Through our business, we are doing a reverse Bold 100. We have a restaurant that the GM lives down the street from me. So I asked him, he's giving away what's called the relief kit, the coronavirus relief kit. It's 5 burgers, 2 orders of wings and beer. And it cost $50. So I said, Joel, why don't you buy, I'll buy one and you donate one. So we're giving away 2. So if Jamie wins, Jamie gets a relief kit, but then she gets to give it to someone else too, another family. So from 9 to 2 this Saturday, and we've been blasting it out on our Facebook page, personal, professional, but on the personal, we always put it on our personal page from our business page so people know that it's a business event. And we actually have the script. They're calling in. We're going to capture their email address, first name, last name, email address, cell phone number. And then at the second part of the conversation, we're going to ask them, hey, Jamie, we're also giving away a $100 gift card to Marlowe's Tavern. Would you be interested in winning that? Her answer is going to be yes, because everyone wants to win $100 to Marlowe's Tavern. Hey, Jamie, as you know, we're a real estate company right here in Lake Nona. Who do you know that is still looking to buy, sell, or possibly invest in real estate that we can help right now? Maybe it's a friend from church, a friend from work, from a Zoom meeting, and we're going to have that call that we've had in bold multiple times. And if they say no, guess what? Hey, Jamie, that's okay. Guess what? You have until 6 o'clock today. This is my cell phone number. If you call back today with any names and contact information, we'll make sure we enter you into that raffle.
So good.
How many of you would like to do a reverse Bold 100? It's costing me, well, it's costing our vendors, our team, a total of $200. I take that back, a total of $150 because Joel's donating one. So we can still do our farming events. We're just doing it virtually. I run a Facebook page for my community. It's not business related. It's 8:46. So at 8:55, I already have it pre-recorded. We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance for all the kids in our community.
Oh, I love that.
So every single morning at 8:55, they get the pop-up of the live event, and guess who they see? This guy right here. And I'm not talking about real estate. I'm interviewing a teacher side by side. And then we go into the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we actually have a teacher who sang the national anthem. And we did that to create that continual community spirit that these kids get up and they do the Pledge of Allegiance and they do the national anthem before they start their schoolwork. Well, all the schools in Lake Nona in Orange County are starting school at 9 a.m. because of the coronavirus. So we just started at 8:55 and they see it. And, business is different. We're doing it from our pajamas, but we're still listing homes and we're still selling houses.
So good. And I love that you're sharing this. This is the reason I wanted you on, is so that the agents could hear really how connected and what you're doing to, build and keep that community, because right now this is it's the most important thing, is that people still stay connected, in my opinion, and know that you care about them. So. Yeah.
And something to piggyback on that, if everyone on here, you have a camera, so if you can see me and I can see you, and I know there's a few people with their names up there because you probably didn't take a shower and do your hair, that's all right. But you all have the ability to interview different people in your sphere. Last night I interviewed a friend of mine, Stacy, who's the general manager at Graffiti Junction, a restaurant in Lake Nona. After 4 weeks of staying open, she finally shut down. So I interviewed her last night on my community page, and it's something I can put on my business page and my personal page. And tomorrow is Good Friday. I'm interviewing a pastor about Good Friday. I'm interviewing about how people can watch his services and how as Christians can we still worship in this COVID crisis. So you need to be a resource to your people. I don't want to say you need to be, that comes across as wrong. Be a resource to your people. And that's what we're doing. My wife's telling me, you need to interview this person and this person and this person. And she's interviewing an elementary school student tonight to talk about what life is like, doing virtual distance learning now. So, and my wife likes to interview too. So it's being a resource and making sure they see this your little noggin, because when they think about real estate, they're going to be, oh yeah, Kevin called to check on me. Oh yeah, he also bought food for the nurses. Oh, he's the guy that does the school stuff. And literally that's how we've built up our business.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. So good. So how being a principal and being in the school system, how did that help you in real estate?
So I think teachers make great real estate agents. I have a buddy of mine, he just got licensed in January and he's got 8 transactions, like 8 under contracts right now, and all happened within the last 4 to 5 weeks. I think, you know, we have to be, as teachers and as principals, you have to be expert negotiators, because every single day as a teacher, I had to convince, I taught middle school and high school. So every 50 minutes, I had to convince 22 students, you know, what I wanted them to do for the next 50 minutes. As a principal, I had to lead 800 students and 100 plus teachers, and I had to convince them. And so I think being a teacher part, it's, you know, I don't want to use the word salesperson, but naturally connecting with people, talking to people, and just being, you know, you also have to be that liaison to the community. When I was a principal, I used to do the community events at different restaurants. So naturally promoting restaurants and dentist offices and all that, I think that's important. And I just believe that there's that community aspect of being the, you know, being a teacher. As far as building our business, there's 8 schools in my community, 5 elementary, 2 middle, 1 high school. Of the 8 principals in our area, I knew 2. And so that means there's 6 that I had no clue who they are. And a lot of the other real estate agents, they'll say, oh, you knew them, you know the principals, that's why they let you do what they let you do. And I said, no, I said, I knew 2 of them, and not well. And so we came across to all the principals coming from contribution. We do stuff for the teachers on a bi-monthly basis. Obviously we don't now, but we were doing back to school breakfast, coffee and donuts, ice cream sandwiches, hot dog bars. I mean, there's so many things you can do for teachers. And here's the key thing. You're not always paying for it. If you have a title company that you're using on a regular basis, they are contributing. If not, then you're finding a new title company. Your lender is contributing. Okay, your insurance company is contributing. And here's the best part. And this is something I learned this year. How many of you go to the same dentist? Raise your hand. How many of you refer your dentist? I refer my dentist. So guess what? My dentist contributes. The restaurants contribute because the restaurants do giveaways. So anything that we do with the teachers, everyone contributes. There is a orthodontist in Lake Nona. Neither one of my boys went there, but he is known as the best. I've gotten to know him. He is an amazing man, and I refer him business. Guess what? He contributes to all of our teacher events. And so I think for the teachers love to eat, and they love to know that they care. And if you come from a place of contribution, they don't care. We give them, I don't think I have any of them in my office. We give them a little square, and I can email this to Jamie. So Jamie, you can, it's a raffle. So every time we do something with the teachers, we ask for their first and last name, their phone number, and their email. And we ask them to circle, do you want information on buying a house, selling a house, refinance, or the insurance, homeowner's insurance? Refinance and HOI, those go to those vendors. If they want to buy or sell, we call them. We've probably closed 5 teachers' homes this year. In regards to if they don't circle anything, we don't spam them. And we tell people we are not going to spam you, and we don't. So we did send out an email recently about our reverse bold 100 that we're doing this weekend, but it's the first time I've sent a mass email to the teachers in 2 years.
Yeah, amazing. What were you and your team doing prior to this pandemic?
Wow, I mean, you know, we grew. So when Jamie was here, my wife is licensed, but my wife is not in production. We have a virtual transaction coordinator, and last year I brought in our first buyer's agent. And so so Richard and I basically did all of the transactions last year. This year, I would say we've still done all the transactions this year. We have 2 more agents that came on board. The second one will not be in production because we're going to separate from our virtual TC, and my wife is going to take over on the listing side transactions, and Astrid is going to take over on the buy side transactions, and we'll just pay Astrid per transaction. We have a new agent on board with us as well. Awesome young lady. We expect great things from her. She has 3 homes under contract. Nothing's closed yet, but is going to teach her now this time that I think that I'm one of the reasons why we're doing the bold 100, reverse bold 100 this weekend is to really capture more leads, more buyers and sellers. So, for both Richard and Shannon. So, but we've always just been Jamie knows I've just been, Richard is a dialer. Shannon is a dialer. I am not a dialer. So Richard will sit there and call for 4 hours a day. So the pandemic is perfect for him because now he just gets to do it from his pajamas. And it hurts me more than anything because I'm used to going and having lunch and breakfast and dinner and having different appointments with attorneys and anyone who will listen to me. So
I was teasing somebody yesterday that like, there's a certain group of people that are loving that they get to be behind the computer and the technology. And then there's those of us that are like going crazy because we can't, get out there with people, it's hard.
Yeah. And I'm okay. It's for the first time in, for those who are Enneagram people, and I'm not, but my wife is, so I'm an Enneagram 3. And so for the first time, I've been forced to slow down and I actually enjoy it. I've watched Netflix. And so I've been able to take my boys driving, been able to read. And so, it's been good. It's been good to slow down. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've got a lot more questions, but I think I wanted to kind of open it up to the agents and give them an opportunity maybe to talk or ask a couple questions. Or Kieran, do you have any questions? I have more if somebody doesn't have questions, but I wanted to open it up.
I had a couple, not necessarily questions, but observations that I just wanted to, first off, absolutely brilliant getting your wife to okay purchasing a new home theater system by saying it's a business expense. I love that. That's great. And then, but also it sounds like really your strategy is capturing mind share, right? And I think we heard from Gary Keller on the call earlier this week that the mind share you capture right now, because we're all in a very different situation, is going to be the market share that you gain through this shift. So staying super focused on capturing that mind share with the people in your farm, in your teacher community, in your database is going to yield tremendous results for your business. Even if it's not right now, if it's 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, I think that's so key. And that's the reason we do these calls every day is we want you guys to stay in activity, just like Kevin's talking about, because it's going to have this massive, uptick in your business if you really get focused on all those things. So thank you for reinforcing that message.
Yeah. And because we don't follow, so I'm not telling you not to follow the Keller Williams model. I just do the Keller Williams model. I just found what works for me. But when I went to family reunion last year in New Orleans, I really felt validated when Josh Team and Gary Keller were up there talking about how everything's moving from the bigger to the more hyper local. And we're very hyper local. I think the last 2 or 3 years, 90% of our transactions come in 3 zip codes. So when I have real estate agent friends who are like, man, I put 40,000 miles on my car every year. And I'm like, yeah, I did like 12. So we don't travel far, which is a blessing.
It truly is. Kieran, do you see any questions? Does anybody have any questions before? And I'll ask more if they don't.
I do.
Okay.
I do. Hi, this is Rosa.
Hi, Rosa.
Thank you so much. You have given me great ideas there and everybody, of course. So I was wondering, always wanted to do what you're doing at hospitals, like with nurses, bringing them lunch. Do you need a certain authorization to do that? How do they know it's you? You're there present. You put your business card on
Good
the
question.
box or whatever.
So right now it's very difficult. So right now, what we did last Friday, I didn't even take the food to them. So we actually know 2 of the nurses, actually we know 3 or 4 of the nurses now, and you get to know them when you show up. So, but right now they're not letting anyone in the hospitals at all. So we had a friend who took her daughter to the ER the other night for I don't even know. She just didn't feel well. And the daughter had to wait, 20 years old in the ER, and the mom had to wait in the car. So they're not letting anyone go in the hospitals at all. So, but normally we would go with them. The nurses work in shifts, so you have to do it twice or the night shift feels left out. So we never show up for the night shift. Usually the buyer's agent will go back for the night shift, and then we go to the day shift. And we just hang out. We talk to them because they'll all come in and eat. It takes us about an hour. We leave our cards. We hand our cards out. We do giveaways. So giveaways are always nice because if there's 25 nurses on each shift, for the third floor. So if I capture 20 of the phone numbers and we're giving away 2 gift cards, so let's just say Dunkin' Donuts, you know, if Jamie didn't win, I'm still calling Jamie. Hey, Jamie, it's Kevin Kendrick from Keller Williams. I'm just calling to let you know you did not win the gift card. So now she's reaffirming, hey, Kevin Kendrick, he's the real estate agent. He brought us food. A month and a half later, you know, I'm doing it again, you know? And so I think that's kind of important to just, it's not, farming is not doing it once and praying you get business. I mean, how many of you get a real estate cards in the mail, postcards? I collect all those cards, and they send me one postcard and they never do it again. I mean, they are taking like the gigantic shotgun approach, and they're just praying, or they're fishing. They're fishing. They're going on a big lake. They're taking one cast and they're just praying that they get one fish, because, you know, if you get a listing in our area, our average commission's between $9,000 and $10,000. It's repetition. You have to do it over and over and over. My farming is in the neighborhoods is once a month, and the schools and the hospitals is every other month. And so we kind of neglected the nurses last year, but now we're going back. And so now we're going to try to do it like every other week. And the nurses talk, especially if you do it over and over and over. I'll put money down if someone took food up to the third floor of the nurses right now and is another real estate agent and they didn't tell them who brought it, they would assume it was us.
Wow.
So you have to do it on a continual basis, and it has to be that repetition.
Yeah, it's good. Do we have any other questions? Anybody else have questions? Because I have a question I want to ask him if you don't. Anybody? Kieran, do you see anybody?
Oh, all you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Who is it? Me?
No, go ahead.
Oh.
You asked your question. Yeah.
Okay. How are you leveraging social media?
Always. Social media is part of, other than Shannon, who's our newest buyer's agent, the one that has the 3 under contract, myself and Richard and my wife, and now Astrid, we are on social media on a regular basis. It's, you know, I use it, I only do Facebook. I don't do anything else. Richard is a master at Instagram. I have no desire to figure it out or learn it. I'm just sticking to where there's like 1 billion people on, which is Facebook. So, so we post on a regular day. We have a business page, we have our personal pages, and we have our community pages. And then we do a lot of sharing, and our community pages are meant to build and foster community. And so just an example, and I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm going to go on Facebook real quick. And so if you go to my community page right now, we have over almost 11,000 people. So just to put it in perspective, I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the top 10 posts on my page are all from me. So what do they see? Kevin Kendrick, Kevin Kendrick, Kevin Kendrick, Kevin Kendrick. And the average post on my Facebook page, I mean, there's our videos get about 2,000 views. Our posts, a lot of our engagement posts will generate as little as 5 comments all the way up to, we had one that had 600 comments about the COVID. So it's just a matter of being a community resource, being positive. I got a message the other day. Someone's like, oh, thank you so much for being positive, keeping it positive during this time. On the community page, we filter stuff out. So other real estate agents, they can post if it's community, but they can't post their open houses, or because I don't promote my business. But we don't post negativity stuff either. You know, oh, Publix sucks, they don't have toilet paper. No, we post Walgreens is amazing, they have toilet paper. You know, there's 2 sides of the coin. So we keep everything positive, and all of our interviews are positive. And so, but social media is, you know, going back to Kieran's comment, it's all about mind share. And we want people to see Kevin, Richard, Astrid, Yvette, and my wife will be the first one to tell you everything she posts is not for the business. So, but what she does, well, she does realize because of association, and everyone knows she's on all of our pictures and all of our marketing. You know, she is. So, we're just very active on Facebook. I think Yvette and Richard are very active on Instagram. I
Well,
have no,
authentic and relatable. And you know, as I watch you and Yvette, that's what I see. It's a really good blend of, you know, they know you're in real estate, but you're very authentic and very relatable.
yeah. So Jen asked, what's the name of our community Facebook page? I'll type it in the chat box. It's Narcoossee News Network. We used to call it Lake Nona United, but the Lake Nona is a development. And by the way, if you try to join the page, just write that you live in Lake Nona and I'll approve you, because we don't let people from the outside come in. So if you type in Lake Nona, that way you can kind of see what we're doing. But oh gosh, I forgot what, now I lost my train of thought. So I'll think about it later. But if you want to join the page, just type in Lake Nona. Oh, Lake Nona, the company, the developer made us change the name. They threatened us with a lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
I know. They said, hey,
I have a
you got to
question
change
for you,
the
Kevin.
name. Sure.
So if we could maybe get you some referral partners down in the Sarasota area, would you be willing to jump on and do like a 30-minute webinar on how you built your community page and some of your strategies on Facebook? Because that's one of the most requested things we get from our agents is like social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you've got a tight plan in your business for using that to generate business and foster those relationships with the people in your database.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to, and I'd be more than happy to service your referrals. And the one thing I think with it is, you know, a lot of people start community pages with the intent of getting to 10,000 members, but they're not willing to put the work and the effort into it. When we got our 10,000th member, I literally had, I don't know how many restaurants are in the Lake Nona community, including fast food, breakfast, mom and pop, franchise. Let's just say there's 50. We probably gave away 25 plus gift cards to these restaurants, and I didn't pay for any of them. I called them up and I said, look, this is what we're doing. Actually, most of them, the owners I have. And so you build these relationships with the businesses in the community and you offer this stuff, but you have to work it. Like I said, everyone wants 10,000 people on their page, but they stop after they get 200, 300, and they stop posting content. There's a button on your phones where you can invite all your friends, but then you also need to ask your friends to invite all their friends. You know, our community page has almost 11,000 members. My business page only has 3,200. People are more interested in joining my community page than they are my real estate page. And I'm on my real estate page all the time, peddling houses. So trying to get, you know, we've got like 13 listings right now we're trying to sell. But people want to go to the resource. They want to go, where can I find toilet paper? For our high schools, a great resource for the high schools. You know, when's the football team playing? You know, is it a home game or is it an away game? When is the musical? So it's all things positive, store related, restaurant related, referrals. And if our business page, by the way, when you get your business page, if you see the same dentist, roofer, and all those people getting the same amount of referrals, you're giving them business on your community page. And that's how I got the dentist my dentist and the orthodontist, because the orthodontist, he and I become friends. We went to a Gator game this year, but because of that page, he gets 3 to 5 referrals a month. Well, braces cost like $5,000. So he's making 15 grand off a Facebook page for free. Yeah, dude, you're paying for breakfast for 500 teachers next week. One of the dentists said, my partners told me no in regards to donating $500 check. I said, I didn't realize I was asking. I said, you know, and I wasn't being rude, but I was like, do your partners realize how much business we refer you? And I said, because if you don't donate it, the other dentist will. They'd be more than happy to take our referrals from the community Facebook page. No lie, 5 minutes later, I got a text, we're in. Yeah. And we were sitting at the airport. I wanted to I told my wife, I said, I should text them back that it just got increased to 1,000. So all the referrals we do, we give a ton of referrals away, and you do too. Everyone on this page, if you're watching and you're in real estate business, you are referring people all the time. You're referring people to the movies. When you say, oh my God, did you go see the new Fast and the Furious movie? That was amazing. I went to Epic Theater. Guess what? Epic Theater will give you gift cards if you refer them business. They just need to know that you're referring. So everyone that you're referring business to, they're either your business partner or you're their sucker.
That's so good.
And real quick, Jamie, so we have customer appreciation night, but we also have vendor appreciation night. Vendors want to be appreciated too. So they want to be wined and dined. So because we're always hitting them up for money. So for the first time in 2019, we had our first vendor appreciation night, and about half the people showed up, which was fine, but it was awesome to do. Everyone loved the sentiment.
I love that. I love that. Well, gosh, Kevin, this has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Is there any closing, if you were to give everyone, just 3 top things as we close out? I know we could talk probably all morning because you are so entertaining and connective. What would you leave everyone with?
Dave Chubb, who helped me grow my business in 2016, he said, Kevin, do you want to make money in real estate? I go, yeah. He goes, do you want to make a lot of money in real estate? I go, yeah. He goes, how much do you want to make? And I gave him a number. He said, I'm going to give you 3 words. And he goes, if you do this every single day, he goes, you're going to make a lot of money in real estate. Talk to people. And that's what we do, is we talk to people, and they will ask you how business is. They will ask you how the real estate market is. They will follow up with you. So there's no doubt in my mind, people want to know and they want to connect with you. They got to know you care. This may not be a popular thing, but for me, because my wife, if she's listening, she'll love this, because I'm an Enneagram 3, I wanted to find that carrot stick that I could chase. So Jamie told me the other day that Chris Baker, y'all had Chris Baker in here the other day, and Chris is a good friend of mine. And Chris has been like one of the biggest challenges. I remember sitting in a restaurant one day, he said, what's your goal this year? And I said, 12 million. And he said, no, you're 15 million. And he held me accountable to that. And so I chased Chris in his business for 2 years. Praise God, we surpassed him. So now we have another people that we chase. So, and I don't want it to come across as chasing competition, but for us, so our goal is to get to $30 million. Well, Chris is a solo agent doing 15. So I can't really chase Chris because he's a solo agent, and I've got, really me and my buyer's agent and a few others on our team. So now we've got other people that we're communicating with that hold me accountable as well. And so, I think it's important to be around, let me just say this, when I was an assistant principal and I knew I wanted to be a principal, I wasn't hanging out with assistant principals. I was hanging out with principals because I wanted to know, what do I need to do to get my foot in the door? Same thing. We want to get to that 30 to 40 million. So we're hanging out with 30 to $40 million agents. And then the last thing I would say, especially during this time, is, my wife said this the other day, if you leave the pandemic the same as when you started the pandemic, as far as your skill set, your people set, your mindset and everything, then you just wasted 2 months of your life. If all you're doing is sitting at home, you're waiting for your phone, or I don't even know where my phone's at. You're waiting for your phone to dial. Oh, people know I'm in real estate. They'll call me. Then, you're missing out. So there's a great series right now. It's called, the Shift Pivot with James Shaw every morning. If you're not reading, today I'm attending a John Maxwell leadership leading through crisis. And I can send Jamie that if you want to send it out. It's from one of John Maxwell's team members. And, what can we do to stretch ourselves and make ourselves better so that when this whole pandemic ends, we come out and it's almost like, hey, not only did we, not miss a beat, but now we're better. We're better today than we were a month ago, 2 months ago. And that would be my thing is what can you do to stretch yourself?
So good. So good. Well, I appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye, everybody. And Jamie, here's what I'll do real quick. I will send you the results of our reverse bold 100. And then I'll send to Jamie so she can send it out to the staff, or I can even do a training on it, assuming it goes well. And I'll let it, but I'll basically give you our scripts and our platform and everything that we do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. All right,
Thanks, Kevin.
Yep. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.